sustainable future inside ASN Bank's SaaS-first automation strategy. In this webinar, you will discover how ASN Bank transformed its IT operations to support its mission of being a fully digital and sustainable financial institution. I'm Lauren Tansini, and I'll be your moderator today. A few things before we begin. This event is designed to be interactive between you and the speaker, so if you have any questions, enter them into the Q&A tab on the right, and we will answer your questions at the end of the session. If we can't get to your questions, we will follow up with you afterwards. Additionally, in the right-hand corner of your screen, you'll find some handouts related to this session. With that said, it's my pleasure to introduce our speakers for today's session. Peter Balliet, Chief Technology Officer at Stonebranch, Kevin Denoden, IT Lead Cloud at ASN Bank, and Remco Vugen, Senior Engineer and Solution Architect at ASN Bank. Let's go ahead and get started. Kevin, take it away.
Thank you, Lauren. Let me get you to a story about an IT guy who was getting up every night at 2 a.m. for years and running the batch jobs automatically. The team implemented at that time an automation platform, and everybody was thrilled, but not this employee. He was still waking up at 2 a.m. for 3 months straight, and out of habit, but he realized the script has already run. So after a month, the IT guy sent everybody a message: everything is running smoothly, as he was the night watch. But at some point, the system failed at 3 a.m. He solved the problem before even the alerting has sent a message. What I want to tell you, the moral of this story is you can automate some people's processes, but you can never automate their dedication. My name is Kevin Den Ouden. I'm an IT tech guy at heart and started as an engineer and worked up to IT Lead Cloud. The opportunity to drive real impact with the modernization track and the journey of rethinking, rebuilding, and simplifying. Today, I'm taking you through my story and the story of ASN Bank about sustainable automation. Because ASN Bank, there's a sustainable, it's just a goal. It's also a mindset. For now, let me see the ASN Bank summary. Our bank started in 1960. We have 2.1 million bank accounts, 47 billion savings, and mortgages around 54 billion. We are in a combined strength of 4 brands since the 1st of July. Therefore, we had the SNS Bank and Regio Bank, but we're now the ASN Bank. We're the 4th biggest system bank in the Netherlands. We have a local focus, and we are combining digital and personal to get our attention, our extra attention of the social issues. We compete against international companies like ING, ABN AMRO, and Rabobank, and we are targeting to be the sympathetic challenger, committed to a sustainable and a just future for everyone. We also do this with a mission-driven IT. We started the mission Sustainable Progress and Banking with a Human Touch. So IT must support this ambition. We have 3 major challenges, and that's our strategic pillars. We have value creation, hybrid cloud and modern platform developer experience, reduce the time spent on run, automate standardized platforms and managed services and cloud tech, and always in control. So maintain full governance, compliance, and operational resilience at all times. Our goal, empowering our colleagues to achieve more at a faster pace and with a higher quality. So with that in mind, we go to our IT strategy. Our IT strategy is a cloud and SaaS-first approach to reduce complexity, and we do that with a modular, secure enterprise principles for our architecture. We also shift to vendor and service integration roles, data-driven. To see our IT modernization pathways on the next slide, we modernize in plateaus, targeting a modular architecture and improved customer experience within the horizons stabilize, modernize, and evolve. With the goals in mind: simplification, cost efficiency, reduce legacy risk, enabling our business partners to be more effective via self-service. And currently on this slide, you can see that we are running on the cloud, on the modernized, and we are doing the continuity and the cybersecurity at first. So we want to be in control in the stabilized horizon. We want to be on the life cycle management part, but also big improvements on the modernized part, like integrated pipelines, CI/CD, test automation, cloud, and observability to monitor our platforms. And the next step will be some outsourcing, create extended partner ecosystem, and eventually going to quantum computing. So, Peter, you can go to the next slide, please. From workload automation to service orchestration and automation platform, we used systems, increment systems were in the niche quadrant, and in 2024, we searched for a leader in this part. So Stonebranch was a leader in the Magic Quadrant for Gartner, and that's why we also had to look at the Stonebranch. Service orchestration platforms are essential for modern IT operations, and Gartner recommends SOAPs for agility and efficiency. UAC aligns with our IT strategy and accelerates standardization. So on the next slide, you see the alignment with our IT principles. We have a SaaS delivery, a single orchestration layer, the Universal Automation Center. They deliver self-service automation for business users, and also job test code for developers. So with the proof of concept, we had some outcomes, and the UAC met our requirements and exceeded expectations in the proof of concept. The Universal Automation Center had some critical integrations for us, like ServiceNow, GitLab for the pipelines, Grafana for our observability, and security monitoring and event management. It's also the architecture for the Universal Automation Center as a secure SaaS architecture with VPC isolation and TLS. After these outcomes, we had to migrate 3 tools to one platform. We had a tool with automated workflows, managed file transfer, and a batch scheduler. And within those tools, we had 3,000 plus batch jobs. We had to migrate to UAC via self-built REST tool, and 300 plus critical workflows within ASN Bank that had to be covered in the Universal Automation Center. We did this 80% of workflows semi-automatically. The migration, we started to consolidate the tools to reduce cost and complexity. And with that in mind, we also had the tool consolidation to value creation. We lowered our TCO, MTTR, and the goals were up. So on the next slide, you can see that we measure success through migration ratio, job failure rate, and legacy decommissioning. And we combined the tools, optimize processes, and invest in longevity and quality. Stonebranch is a product for us with a longer lifespan. So with that talk, Remco, I want to give it to you, that you can talk about the use case we had for the payment and data change, and also talk about the integrations we have.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. As Kevin told you, we had 3 tools that we wanted to migrate to one tool. First of all, that was the managed file transfer tool, and the managed file transfer tool we wanted to integrate with the UAC so that direct file transfers could be done directly through the UAC, and made use of our upstream proxy that also checks and validates the files that we transferred to our partners that are outside of our own IT environment. But we had some more requirements to the tools. So when we started the proof of concept together with Stonebranch, and they did that on premise with us at the bank, they ticked all the boxes, but we had two requirements that they could not meet right away. And what was great is that Stonebranch solved both of those blocking issues within 1 week and gave us a new fix, so we could go on with those requirements and have them all checked out. When we started the migration, we had a few optimizations in mind, and Peter, you can go to the next slide. We wanted to have integration with all of our IT systems. So our idea was that when somebody needed to build their own workflow, because that's what we do, we have a philosophy within the bank. You build it, you run it. So teams make their own workflows. We wanted to have a formula in ServiceNow, and with that formula, they can select the application for what they are building that workflow. They get a name and a summary, and when they have this formula filled out, automatically there will be a process started that registers the workflow within our CMDB. And the user gets all the rights, and we have different rules made for the users. So they can be a developer or an operator or a viewer, or they can even only use the self-service portal. And we also wanted to have the workflow integrate later on with Grafana and all other tools that we use within our banks. One of our requirements was that also all data that we process will not go out of our own environment. We will be using the cloud environment that Stonebranch provides to us, but all data never leaves the agents and the servers within our own IT environment. And of course, we also wanted a robust platform that could run all of our workflows, because a lot of our workflows are very important for the bank, and they process bank information and financial data. So they have to be up 24/7. Another requirement that we had was that the teams themselves should be able to have a fast learning curve. And what we see is that a lot of teams, after they onboarded in Stonebranch, really took the tool and made it fly. One of our teams also created their own migration tool. They work with our old scheduling tool, and that, well, I think over 2,000 Opcon jobs that they needed to migrate. And they made a tool that made a connection with the old scheduling tool, and through REST API calls, they extracted the data and put the new schedules into Stonebranch. And then they would manually check those migrations and start the new scheduling tools one by one. But that's methods saved us a lot of time and a lot of money, and I think a lot of errors when migrated. The migration that we did for the workflow that we have is we did an analysis on our current workflows and saw that a lot of them were similar in building up. So it's all file transfer based with encryption and zipping and decompressing. So we made a template, and with extracting all the variables from our current workflow, we injected that into new templates, and the new workflows can take whatever block in the workflow they need, and we only have to maintain one big workflow for all of our workflows that we run. Peter. What were the lessons that we learned? Start early with learning path. Although the learning curve that you have going to Stonebranch is very short, you'll need time to have your tools adapted within your environment, and enforce standards. We set up a lot of rail guards for the teams, so that they can only work with standard tools, and make sure that everything is set up within the Stonebranch tools before you hand it over to your teams. And one big shout out is migrate as is. Don't start adapting or changing when you're migrating your tools. So we have one big rule: we migrate at this, and when all the work flows are migrated, we will go on and enhance all the migrate and do some more optimizations to them. Peter. What do we still have to do? We're now in the process of migrating our EFT platform. So we use the UAC platform to transfer files from within our bank to external partners, but we also need a platform for external partners to send some data to us, and that's where we're going to use the UDMG. That will be on-prem for us. You build it, you run it. Nice concept, of course, but we see that a lot of our colleagues need a little bit of help, especially when they're not IT driven. So we're setting up a team that can support them whenever they have questions. We're also working on the universal portal implementation, so we can give some users that don't have any knowledge about the workflow. They can start a workflow, they can look into output from a workflow, but they don't need any IT experience at all. And we're still going on with the rail guards that we need. So that's what we're going to do the next few weeks within the bank. Peter.
Thanks, Remco. I appreciate that. Kevin, thanks too. I thought before we get to the Q&A, I just want to give a little bit of background on Stonebranch and our product, Universal Automation Center, that ASN Bank has used. First off, we have an updated Gartner Magic Quadrant. The one that they shared was one from last year. This is the new one from this year, and again, we got recognized by Gartner, and even moved up higher in what the quadrant. And I think this is a recognition of exactly what ASN Bank went through. We have a lot of customers that are needing to modernize what was traditionally known as workload automation, and getting to as their footprint goes to hybrid IT, it's getting a lot more complicated to orchestrate across your on-prem systems, your cloud systems, your SaaS systems. And so this is one of the reasons that Gartner created this SOAP Magic Quadrant, was to really recognize the companies that are really helping customers do that. And what you heard described from Remco and Kevin is what we see a lot of customers doing, which is taking all of these legacy systems that really haven't gone through any innovation, any modernization, and really looking at a product like UAC to help them do that. Stonebranch has actually been around, a long time. We've been around 20 years. Started off in workload automation probably about 5-6 years ago, as the trend to cloud and SaaS really started to take off. We really focused on being able to expand our core product to enable this hybrid IT orchestration. We've got customers around the world. We've got a big presence here in Europe and the US. And then we also have customers in the Middle East and Asia. And we actually support these customers worldwide, both with on-premise installations. We have customers that run our product on-premise, but then we also do SaaS hosting. So we have a SaaS offering of our product that customers use, and we offer that all over the world for customers in their locations. When you look at the core parts of UAC, you can kind of think of it in three major areas. One is what we call transfer. There still is a lot of data being moved across a more hybrid IT landscape. And so we focus a lot on how do we manage and help customers move data between systems, but also between cloud storage, between SaaS systems. And then there's still what we call B2B, business to business type of data transfer. So you're not just moving data now internally, you're also doing that with your customers, with your suppliers. And so we enable that and kind of do that managed file transfer. The universal controller is really the engine of orchestration. That's very mature. That's been around for a very long time. Very complex automation engine. Typical workflows, but what we've modernized it with is a lot of integration. So now you can integrate in a lot of different systems, a lot of different tools within a workflow. The universal portal is new as well, because we're seeing what we call citizen automators. So people that aren't as technical need to access automation, whether it's to run automation, check status, even do some level of authoring of automation. And so we have a universal portal, which is a less technical type of user interface. Our universal agent, so we connect to a lot of different systems. And because we came from the on-prem world, we actually are able to connect to a lot of legacy systems and work on legacy operating systems. And that's through our agent technology that we're able to do that. So for us, bridging the on-prem world and the cloud world is really easy, because that's kind of the world we came from. And then we've incorporated in all of the cloud capabilities as well. And that's done through the universal integration platform. You'll see in a slide later, we've developed a way to integrate into a lot of different systems and tools very easily. We're able to innovate very quickly to any new technologies because of this integration platform. On diving a little deeper into the transfer side, on the left there is kind of the world we came from, which is, everything was on-prem. So we're doing server to server type of data movements or application to applications that were on-prem. And then when you were trading data with your business partners, you had a managed file transfer capability, which was typically FTP, AS2, even HTTP file transfers. That's been the legacy way to actually do that, and it's actually the predominantly way that it's still done today. But what we see customers doing, and we see people adopting, is to also do more cloud to cloud type data transfers. So everybody is using, these public cloud providers for doing storage and data analytics, because it's a very cost-effective way to do it. You're only paying for what you use. And so they're pushing data to the cloud. And so we've incorporated not just doing the server to server, but then we can go server to cloud and then do what we call inter-cloud transfers as well. when you trade data with customers and suppliers, that probably, we see that going also more towards cloud transfers versus the EDI type of transfers. But you still need to manage that, so you still need to have all the capabilities when you're trading data that you expect: traceability, governance, security, logging all the data that's being moved and where it's being moved, even scanning data as it's coming in and out, whether it's on-prem or in the cloud. You still want to have all of that with the managed part of managed file transfer. So that's, and if you look at it holistically, on-prem, you have your on-premise systems. You have what we call hybrid cloud, which is going from on-prem to cloud storage or cloud applications, even cloud databases. And then you have intercloud, which is really just going from maybe one cloud provider to another cloud provider. As customers are using best of breed cloud providers for data analytics or hosting an application, they need to do this intercloud transfer. And so we're enabling that capability. And then you can think of it as a business to business needs to incorporate all of that managed file transfer, so that you can have one system that can really manage all of your data transfers and keep traceability of it all. And so we see customers going more to more of this. But the key thing with our product is that you can still do all of the legacy EDI transfers and incorporate it into more of this modern cloud type of data storage and data transfers. On the, when we talk about the integration platform, this is really key. And this is what really enables the orchestration, is we have new technologies and new applications popping up, very, very quickly. And so what's really important for really any SOAP tool that you choose is that you can integrate into a lot of different things, and that you can actually build integrations for your specific needs or for new technologies that you adopt. And so we have a platform where we can develop integrations in, days, week, very, very quickly, or customers are able to do it themselves too. We have customers that will build their own integrations. And so if you look at all the different areas where you are going to have to do integrations when you talk about automation and where you might run workloads, this is all the different categories. You have the analytics area. We're actually seeing a lot of companies go towards the containerizing workloads and running them either in on-prem OpenShift, or they're actually seeing them using the Azure Kubernetes service or the AWS Kubernetes service. So, a lot of people seem to be going from VMware more towards containerized workloads, which is really, really nice, because you can actually move those workloads a lot easier between, as long as you can have a container system like Kubernetes or OpenShift. And then we also see, what Remco was talking about. We see a lot of integration to ServiceNow or other ITSM systems, because that might be the kicking off a workflow in UAC. So we do a lot of integrations into ITSM systems. And if you look at this from just a workflow example, this is how complex these this orchestration can get. And within this workflow, you see if you start off on the left side, we're starting off with SAP. So that may be an on-prem SAP system. But yet, as you move to the right, you can see we're transferring data via SFTP or from a server. You have a human involvement with a user, approval. So this isn't just completely, non-human oriented. You may want somebody to review things within this process, all the way going to cloud storage. So you can see that we move things to either AWS S3 or the Azure Blob Storage. You may even have something like Databricks, which is more of a SaaS hosted analytics platform. And then it may come back. So you grab data and you may have back to on-prem either a Tableau or Power BI system that does the reporting or provides those dashboards that you have back to your people within the company or whoever may be consuming those analytics. But you can see, just to do this type of orchestration, very much hybrid IT oriented. Integrations are very, very key to each of these technologies. You can't wait 6 months for a new release of the product. You need to be able to have these integrations more on demand, and we've got a way that you can download those, as you need them. And we've been recognized, by a lot of industry analysts. We place a very heavy emphasis on working with our customers, not just during the migration. Typically you might have some on-prem automation systems that you're migrating from. So we have a very good capability to migrate from a lot of existing automation and workload automation tools. And we've actually always been able to migrate very, very, I think our large migrations are in the hundreds of thousands of workflows that we've done successfully. And all these awards are just kind of our focus on customer service and customers really being successful with our products. And with that, I think we'll move to our panel discussion. And Kevin, Remco, thanks for that was a good kind of walkthrough of the experience you had coming from your legacy, tools. I was wondering, one question I had is, and it's a common thing in the IT industry where you end up with a lot of tools, and then at some point you say, hey, wait a minute, we have too many tools, we need to consolidate. What were some of the big benefits you saw, tangible benefits from going down to like UAC from the different tools that you had?
Well, and the technical benefits, Remco can answer in a minute, but what I saw was especially the cost savings in the long part. So if you look at Stonebranch and as a product, so we did a handshake for a couple of years because we think the product is here to stay, and the other products were increasing very, very quickly in euros, but also in operational efficiency.
Yeah.
So with Stonebranch, we do now have a platform that is really efficient. Also with the integrations you mentioned, you guys are really quick to get those integrations if you don't have them, and also the overall agility. Teams have now their own environments to have those kind of workflows where in front they have 3 applications.
And also from a technical view, we had different platforms that we had to maintain. So that took us a lot of time, but also a lot of knowledge from several platforms that we had to maintain within our team. And moving to Stonebranch also had some benefits on the integration of those platforms, because we had a lot of questions. Yes, I need some scheduling, but I also need a workflow that needs to be scheduled. And now they have them both in one platform.
Hmm. I wrote down some notes as you were going through your slides. I think one thing I was wondering, you when you migrated the workflows over, I think what I see also with other customers is that it's the opportunity to look at to do an inventory of everything you have built up over years. Did you guys do that? Did you actually say, okay, let's take an inventory of all of our automation workflows, or and then kind of see if you really needed them? Or kind of, you said you optimized later, but so was that something did you do any analysis up front of the workflows that you had?
of course, we did some analysis. It's pointless to migrate some projects that you don't use anymore, of course. But it was a point in time where we looked at our environment and said, "Hey, what do we have, and what do we need, and where do we need to go to?" So we really took the time to look at our environment and make some changes before we started the migration, of course.
Yeah. And then what was the one of the things I think that's the hardest part is, migrating things is one part of it, but then doing the validation that, okay, we migrated it, now let's make sure it still performs and works the way that it did. How did that process work? Did you do that for every workflow that you migrated, or did you have some other way to do the validation?
Yeah, and with this migration, all the workflows were maintained and also operated by our team. And with the new vision of you build it, you run it, all the flows were distributed amongst our users, and that was difficult because now you had teams that were responsible for workflows, and some of them really adapted them very easily, and the tool made that possible. But we also saw some teams that really were struggling with the things that they have to do now, and we have some users that are not technically skilled. So we try to make that as easy as possible, and I think that the universal portal is helping us with that a lot.
That's good. And I noticed in there you had the open telemetry, taking advantage of the open telemetry capability. Have you and you had the Grafana there as well. Have you been building Grafana dashboards off of the open telemetry data?
Yeah, we did. Yep. When we started with the migration, one of our prerequisites was that we really wanted to integrate into all the existing monitoring and also our security monitoring system that we have within the bank, because everything needs to be very secure. So we tested those integrations, and they all work, and we work with Grafana dashboards now. Yeah, from Stonebranch.
So you typically might have a dashboard that has data that comes from other places outside in addition to UAC.
Yeah, we're still refining that because we're now in the process of still migrating a lot of workflows, but we will be expanding those dashboards as we go further in the migration.
And not only with the Grafana dashboard, Remco, we also do the security monitoring.
Yep.
Besides the dashboarding in Grafana.
Yep.
So that's there also.
That's there also. Yeah. Yeah.
What would you say was the, these, anytime you go through changing a system, these kind of mission critical systems, they never go completely smoothly. So, I mean, what were some of the pain points that you guys had during the migration?
Well, we had a few, of course. I think that a lot of had to do with the majority of flows that we had to migrate. It was a lot, and it wasn't always as easy as we thought when we started the migration. Some of those workflows were very complex or not well documented, and we all know how that is within a company. So we had to get a lot of information from within our stakeholders.
Yeah,
and that took time and wasn't always easy. Yeah.
That's an interesting one. One of the things that we're experimenting with is because we've had customers that have a large workflow, but they have no idea what it does. And we've been looking at trying to use, some of this Gen AI to kind of take a workflow and then just describe it so that you can easily understand everything that it does, because that's a big, that we see that problem when you get into these complex workflows.
Yep. What we did is, because we worked with a default template and we took all the variables from each old workflow that we had, so we had some idea of what was happening within that flow and who we needed to contact. But sometimes we saw that some of those information wasn't very actual, and we had to get the data again.
Yeah, you mentioned you did workflow consolidation. And that was after you migrated?
No,
was
no,
that like
that was we worked with workflows and templates before,
Yeah.
that made it a little bit easier to migrate to one template in Stonebranch.
And then you use variables to customize the execution, but it had a kind of a template workflow.
Yes.
And then any advice for maybe some of the people listening on when if you're going through the same process, is there any key advice you would give them?
Well, one of the advice that I have is get somebody who had done it before with the tooling that we have. We used Stonebranch professional services to help us with that. But it saved us a lot of errors and mistakes that we could have made to talk with somebody that already did some of the migrations and could help us with migrating the workflows.
Yeah. And then have you, I know, once, for some of, there's customers we have that go through the same thing you did, which is kind of going from legacy systems and then getting UAC installed, and then they look at what else that what else they can do with it, what benefits they're seeing. Have you guys expanded out more in terms of what you use UAC for, or have seen it really improve some area of the IT organization?
What we saw when we released the tool to our IT environment and the teams could really get going on with the tool, we saw that we got a lot of requests from those users to implement some integrations into the tool that were existing that we never thought of that we would have needed for, of course, our workflows. You see that some teams really take the tool and make great workflows with them that surprise us. Yep.
Was it did you have Stonebranch do those integrations, or did you all do them?
No. That were all standard integrations from Stonebranch. Yep.
Okay, that's good. That's what we like to see.
Yeah, that one example is that we have one team that is working with Kafka, and they said that the integration that they use provided by Stonebranch really helped them in creating a workflow within a couple of days and saving them a lot of time. So that was great to see. Yep.
And then whenever the people aspect of the change, how did did you find that challenging, or because usually people always don't want to change systems, they always know that comes with pain, but was the people aspect, did you guys have problems with that?
Kevin, can you answer that question?
Well, it's difficult for users who don't want to migrate because they stick on the system that is working fine right now. So if you look at the regulatory part of it, then yes, they had some discussion with us for migrating, but they got to see the benefits of the system. So we talked with them. We showed them what the system is, what level of experience they need, and what help they did get from our team, from Remco or the other guys. But also that Stonebranch is involving with the user portal and the integrations they all have. It's all standard, so they can do great things without even programming itself. It's already there.
Great. Before we open it up for the general Q&A, any last comments from either of you?
Well, I think if you are going to migrate, and also if you purchase Stonebranch, the organization that I'm working in with ASN Bank, we talked about that adoption is key. So every team needs to adopt the new way of working. They get the help from the professional services from Stonebranch, but they also get the help from the engineers on site. And if you want to migrate or automate something, then Stonebranch is a leader, as Gartner said. So yeah, that was the choice that for us was not only the cost savings, but also the agility and the visibility of Stonebranch.
Thanks. Lauren, you want to pass it over to you for the Q&A?
Yes. All right, let's go ahead and share some questions. If anyone has any questions, just add them into the Q&A panel and we will answer them now. All right, this one, can you let us know which tool you migrated to Stonebranch SaaS application?
I was a little bit early in the chat, but we migrated the tools from SMA technology and Fortra. The SMA tool is Opcom, the batch scheduler, and Fortra uses automated enterprise and enhanced file transfer. So that are the three tools we are migrating to Stonebranch.
Great. All right, I saw Git mentioned previously. How are you using Git in your process for updating and managing workflows and tasks?
Yeah, we're now using Git only to get some commands from the workflows into Git, but we're looking into the possibility of Git as a supplier of the variables that we have on our templates.
Yeah, there's a capability within UAC called jobs as code. And what it does is you can maintain your workflows in Git and have all of the branching strategies that you use in Git. And when you commit within the Git repo or merge a branch, then it will sync that workflow with UAC so that you can, because we see a lot of customers that they want to take a code, jobs as code approach towards managing automation. And so that's how we've got an integration back and forth to different Git providers, GitHub, GitLab. I forget what the one from
Bitbucket.
But yeah,
Bitbucket,
yeah, Azure DevOps, is another one.
And with all these integrations, you can find them on the Integration Hub, and in the handouts, you can find a link there to check out and download all these integrations. All right. Is the scope of the migration limited to managed file transfer and IT automation only, excluding tools like SAP or other job scheduling systems?
Yes, currently we are only looking at the managed file transfer, the batch jobs, and the automated schedules. But we also see that we have some systems that are running on, for example, a Windows server that are doing some batch jobs or some working there. And we asked Stonebranch if it is possible to do some kind of integrations with that, so that we are looking for. And there are more scheduling tools within our company, and that's for the next phase. If we have migrated all the workflows and the batch jobs, then we are going to look to these systems, because the more systems we can integrate, the more benefits we have.
Perfect. All right. How long did the migration to Stonebranch take for ASN Bank?
Well, we started, I think, a year ago with the first examples. Then we saw directly that there need to be some adjustments in the workflows because, as Remco mentioned, the documentation was not always there. That makes it a little more difficult for us. Currently, we are running the production environment, but Remco, maybe you can give some more insights on that. And we're still migrating. That's bottom line. But there are a lot of workflows, as you can see in the slide deck, 3,000 plus. So we need to be a little bit we need to see if the workflows can migrate it one-on-one, and we also need to see if it's not a robotic process, because that's the main part from the Automate Enterprise that we are running. That's also a robotics tool. So we need to make the discussion and to see if it's in the robotics tool or in the Stonebranch tool.
Yeah, perhaps that also answers a little bit the question of what were our top 3 blockers or issues that we had facing in this migration. It's I think part is technically get the right input to get the right output, but also get the teams ready to test and get teams also get ready with the knowledge that they need before they can do some testing. And sometimes it's difficult to get all the teams in line and at the right time, the right moment available for testing. They're all very busy, of course.
Okay, thank you, everyone. That was the last question that we had. Thank you, Peter, Kevin, and Remco. It was great to hear how ASN Bank is using Stonebranch. I want to thank all of you for joining us today. Later today, you'll receive an email that contains a link to the recording for you to rewatch or share with your colleagues. Don't forget to register for the final webinar of the year, 2025 Tips and Tricks 2.0 UAC Automation Hacks You Haven't Tried Yet on December 17th. Thank you all for joining, and we will see you on our next session.